In this video, I'm going to show you how to create assembly. An assembly is basically a cross section of our roadway. So go ahead and open up our last drawing that has the center line profile in it, the proposed one. Now, take a look at your right-of-way. Your right-of-way is going to have 12-foot curbs. That's what this area represents. Then you're going to have a 2-foot curb, a 6-foot grass area, and a 5-foot sidewalk. Now, when you're creating assembly, remember I said it's a cross section. So we're going to need to know it's a 12-foot lane at 2%, an F-type curb, 6-foot grass area at 6% slope, and a 5-foot sidewalk area at 2%. So let's get started. Come up here to create designs and pull down assembly. Create assembly. I'm going to go ahead and leave all of this as default, but the assembly type can be changed and so can the assembly style. But we're going to leave it as other and basic and all codes. Codes represents what the assembly is being built on. It has the top code is what we're using. Specify the assembly location is what it says down here at the command prompt. So I'm just going to pick a location between my project and my profile. This line here represents the center line of the road. So we're going to build the right-hand side of the cross section. In order to do that, you're going to need to come up to your palettes. Now, your tool palettes that you want to use is here. So click this icon here to get the tool palettes to show up. The other thing is if you come over here in the tool space and you click on your assembly underneath the prospector, you can see that this is the assembly that we created, VC assembly. Now, the first thing that we have to build from our tool palettes, if you notice, you have a basic common assemblies. We're not using those, we're going to create our own. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to build a lane, a 12-foot lane at 2%. So I'm going to select the lane super elevation AOR. When I do that, I'm going to select this center line and I'm going to start building to the right. I'm going to stop right here and I'm going to take a look at the assembly property to make sure it's the design that I want. You can build all the pieces and then adjust the properties if you want, but I'd like to do it as I go along. When I highlight this, you can see my property box over here, and you can adjust it either through the property box or the assembly properties. I'm going to show you through the assembly properties up here in your ribbon. So I'm going to click Sub-Assembly of Properties, and what's going to pop up is this dialog box. It's got information and parameters. It is a 12-foot lane, so that's exactly what I want to build, and a negative 2% slope. This gives the depth of each of the sub-assembly parts. Your asphalt, your base, and your subgrade. I'm going to leave that as is and say apply and OK. The next piece that I want to click on is I want to create a curb. Notice all of these. These are where your codes are being applied. We're going to only use the top code where everything is connected. So I'm going to come back over here to my tool palettes and come down to curb. We're going to be using the urban curb gutter general. So I'm going to click on this top code here. This is very important. If I didn't pick here, it would not create a seamless connection. The next thing I want to do is create the 6-foot grass area. We don't actually have a median that has that same capability of a 6% cross slope. So I'm going to come to the generic tab here. And I'm going to use link, width, and slope. So I'm going to give it a width of 6 and a slope of 6%. So I click this and I select this top code here. Now, when I select this icon, I'm going to go up to sub-assembly properties up here. I go to the parameters and I know that the width I said was 6 feet and it is going to be a 6% cross slope. Apply and OK. Okay. Even when we look over here, now we can see in our properties box it's 6% at 6 feet. The next thing I want to build is a sidewalk. In our basic, there's a sidewalk, but it's not what I'm looking for. It doesn't have a cross slope. I need one with a cross slope. So I'm going to go ahead and go back to the generic. I'm going to go back up to basic, and I'm going to create a generic pavement structure. I know it's not pavement, but it'll still give me what I'm looking for. It'll allow me to build the size, the cross slope, and the depth. So I'm going to click here, and notice that it's going the wrong direction. So I'm going to click on it, and I'm going to go to sub-assembly properties, parameters. We want it to be 5 feet in width, and it's going to have a positive 2% cross slope. And we also want a depth of 0.33. That makes it depth of 0.33. That allows me to have volume calculations if I want to deal with that in the future. So I go apply and OK. So now I've got all the way up to the edge of the right-of-way. But I'm going to go ahead and click one more time and create, using the generic, the length, width, and slope. So I click on that and I come over here. What I'm building now is basically an extension so I can at least set the front lot corners of my property. So I'm going to click it and I'm going to go ahead and extend that out to 50 feet. And it's going to have a cross slope of 1%. So see, instead of me coming up here when I highlighted that, I could select this and change everything, or I can just use my properties box. This is why I'm a big fan of the properties box always staying open. The next thing I need to do is I need to actually mirror this over to the other side. I'm going to go ahead and close out my toolpaths. I won't be needing those anymore. To be able to mirror, you're not going to use the regular mirror command. When I highlight all of the objects that I want to mirror, I come up and you notice the contextual tab now has these options. I'm going to click mirror and I'm going to click it about that center line. And it gives me the exact same thing on the opposite side. Now, the next part of the project is to create a corridor. So go ahead and save this out as assembly, and in the next video we'll get started on creating the corridor based on our assembly and based on the proposed roadway center line. All right.